Time to grow deeper. Our interview of the week on cover crops. Well, can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you're most excited about?
Sure. Well, we've got a lot of things going on, so I'm excited about all of them. It's like your own children, you know. They're special. We've got studies on planting cover crops into wheat stubble that we'll be talking about this afternoon, and then following those cover crops with corn and watching how the corn recovers from the cover crop treatments that went on before. We're talking about corn hybrids and how you can change the maturity of the corn hybrids to allow earlier seeding date on the cover crops that will give you a longer growing season and more biomass on the cover crops. And then, of course, the main interest there is whether how yields are affected on the part of the corn hybrids.
Sure.
And we're doing that with soybean hybrids, varieties as well.
Just kind of a general question, but I've seen just the adoption of cover crops over even just the last few years. I mean, would you agree that we've seen just a lot more interest in that?
Oh, certainly. And part of that, there are incentives. You know, there's some cost savings, some cost for seeding costs and other things. And plus, it's just a good sustainable practice. So what we're trying to study is how to do cover crops without adversely affecting the corn or soybean yields. Corn and Soybean Board have been supporting us on our major projects, and that's the main heart and desire. But if you have cattle to feed, you may not be that concerned about losing corn or soybean yields.
But I know there are growers out there who say, oh gosh, I don't want to do this because what's it going to do to my yields of my cash crops, and which is understandable, but it looks like you're doing some research that is, we can do things that are good for soil health and still not have an adverse effect on those primary crops that we're growing.
That's right. We're trying to get that perfect mix, that perfect storm where you get the cover crop biomass without drastically influencing the corn and soybean yields. A lot of the things we're doing you don't want to do at home because we're doing research here and we're trying to proof these things out to see how they really do work.
Are there particular cover crops that you're having success with? I mean, do you recommend kind of a mix? Is it dependent geographically what part of the state you're in? What kinds of things would you
all those
suggest?
things are correct. Most of our work, if you're looking for pure biomass, cereal rye in our trials is probably
Sure.
by far the best in terms of pure dry matter production. Probably a certain mixture, a certain timing that works for every farmer individually. It's one of those things, kind of like a tillage system, that after a while you get used to it and you get good at it, and it may work great for you and it may not work well for your neighbor at all, even though you have the same soil and same environment.
It help improve our overall soil health, right?
That's the idea of it. You know, for reducing erosion, we know that happens. For scavenging nitrogen, we know that happens if you get good biomass productivity. We know you can feed cattle in the fall and in the spring. So those are all positives, and really what we're trying to do is to maintain or improve our soil. And all the cover crops, I think, is a good answer for a lot of us to do that.
We've been to a lot of county fairs lately. Recently, County 45 coming together, Webster County for the fair and rodeo. 4-H'ers got a chance to compete in the round-robin livestock showmanship contest, showing off pigs, sheep, and cows before the judge. Sadie Englehart was named grand champion and will go on to represent the county at the state fair. The Bladen native says she loves being part of 4-H, and she's learned so much since joining.
It has taught me to just have confidence. You know, going in the show ring, if you're not confident in you and your animal, then you're not going to win anything ever. I mean, just always have self-confidence and confidence in what you are doing.
Not to be outdone, a few future 4-H'ers also got a chance to show off their animals too. Kids 7 and under competed in the Rainbow Classic, sharing a few details about themselves and their animals with fairgoers. NTV's Ifeanyi Ibo Simba was honored with the duty of judging the contest and tells us it was a blast. Local 4-H leaders say these types of events help develop life skills like public speaking, responsibility, and work ethic.
We emphasize, those life skills because as they become adults or go into maybe secondary education, they need those life skills so that they can be productive and also have an impact when they become adults.
Steve, who you just heard from, says he was also encouraged by how many kids participated and is excited to welcome more new faces to Webster County 4-H. And sticking with our county fair theme, Aisha Aubrey reports from last week's Buffalo County Fair.
Maverick and McGuire Widowson are some hard workers. The hard work they put in definitely showed in the 4-H competitions.
It's a long process, and we start breaking those cattle and getting them tame and ready to go as soon as we can. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time to get those cattle the way we want to and get them presented the way we'd like to.
The brothers took home awards as Champion Division I Steer, Grand Champion Senior Beef Showman, and Reserve Beef Showman, just to name a few.
I think it's very outgoing just to be out here. Not very many kids get the opportunity to, and I do, so I really like that.
These guys also work on their family farm in Gibbon, where they have 20 head of crossbreed steers and 30 head of Angus cattle they raise. It's a job they take seriously.
We can do everything right throughout the year, but if we don't market and sell our cattle the way we want to, we still might not make money. And our business practices need to be up to par so that we can be the most successful we can be.
The Widowson brothers say they plan to continue farming and showing their cattle for the long run. It's something that's in their blood.
It's a lot of hours, a lot of sweat, and a lot of man hours that we have to go in to make these cattle look the way they do.
Just a lot of time with the cattle, working hair, walking them around, and just keeping them in the show barn, just under fans, and just keep them tame.
The brothers are committed to keeping it in the family and working hard.
Still to come, the latest on the drought and turning sorghum into jet fuel. We'll explain.
Hi, I'm Terry Christensen from North Loop, Nebraska, and you're watching Grow on NTV.